All right, now the crucial Moscow format summit on the Afghan situation concluded in Russia. And representatives of the 10 nations with high stakes and also deep linkages in Afghanistan were in attendance for this format summit. And interestingly, Taliban delegation was also present, and the agenda entailed the formation of an inclusive government and also consolidating international partnership towards preventing a humanitarian and also an economic crisis blowing out in Afghanistan. The Taliban delegation lined up for a press briefing after the meeting in Moscow. The Taliban has now welcomed the initiative that's been taken by Russia, and it has announced that the meeting was in fact very good and very constructive, and the participating nations were very friendly. The Taliban delegation also declared that the participating nations have agreed to unfreeze Afghanistan's assets in the international markets.
It was a very good meeting in a very positive environment. The Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan appreciates and welcomes the initiative by the Russian Federation, and we had very good meeting. All the participating countries, they supported unfreezing the assets of Afghanistan Central Bank, which is actually the assets of the Afghan people, and it should not be connected with political issues. And also all the participating countries, they supported close engagement with the new Islamic government in Afghanistan. And overall, the Islamic Emirate appreciates the effort and the positions mostly expressed by different countries in today's meeting.
Now, the Taliban delegation also held a separate high-level meeting with Indian representatives on the sidelines of the format summit. Now, the high-level delegation, led by the Deputy Prime Minister Hanafi, met with India's special representative for Afghanistan, Pakistan and also Iran. Now, according to the spokesperson of the Taliban government in Afghanistan, Zabiullah Mujahid, both sides in fact spoke about improving diplomatic and economic relations. The Taliban has claimed that the Indian side has expressed its readiness to provide for extensive humanitarian assistance to the Afghan people. While the Taliban has also expressed its hopes about gaining legitimacy on the world stage, at this point of time, so far, although different countries are engaging with the Taliban, no participating nation has committed to recognizing the legitimacy of the Taliban rule in Afghanistan. The 10 participating nations have also pushed the Taliban for action against the so-called Islamic State, particularly its regional faction, the so-called ISIS Khorasan, that seems to be very active at this point of time in Afghanistan. It has so far resorted to as many as about 50 targeted attacks on Taliban leadership and also on Taliban fighters, as well as indiscriminate suicide bombings targeting many mosques across the length and breadth of Afghanistan. Now, interestingly, the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has also recognized the Taliban's efforts in trying to stabilize the situation in volatile Afghanistan. Listen in to what the Russian Foreign Minister had to say.
A new administration is in power now. This fait accompli places great responsibility on the Taliban. We note their efforts to stabilize the military and political situation and set up work of the state apparatus.
Now, Moscow has said that no country is interested in seeing a paralyzed Afghanistan. It has also clarified that its direct contacts with the Taliban were aimed at understanding the developments and prospects in the country. However, Russia's invitation led to many analysts speculating that on account of its standing in the world stage, the move potentially could drag a Taliban-led Afghanistan out of isolation. Now, as far as China is concerned, it has supported the participation of the Afghan representatives, that is the Taliban representatives, and has called on them to help rebuild Afghanistan and also its people. But Beijing has stressed that cooperation and constructive relationship depends on whether the Afghans were able to decide their own future. And also our correspondent Anas Malik is presently in Kabul, has been tracking the developments very closely for us and has sent us this report. Take a look.
Well, the Moscow format talks with 10 countries have ended, and the joint communique that has come out, it's a clear win on the part of Taliban. The joint communique talks about the concerning and the deteriorating humanitarian and economic situation. It talks about the Afghan money that is there. It talks about the fact that Afghanistan's territorial integrity should be respected, and it also talks about for the fact that there should be more and more engagement. So this is a clear win on the part of the Taliban. It also talks about the fact that the threats against that can possibly emanate from Afghan soil that have to be countered with. So that is something that the Afghan Taliban have been reassuring. The joint communique of the Moscow format also mentions the fact that recognition or no recognition the Taliban have to be engaged with. It also pushes the Taliban with regards to a more inclusive setup and to guarantee rights for human rights to minorities and to women as well. So all in all, while the Taliban saw this as a formal recognition or a form of recognition, this communique would help them in communicating or in engaging the international community as and when the time comes in the absence of a formal recognition. Anas Malik in Kabul, Afghanistan for WION World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.